In this lecture, we're going to talk about deduplication and global deduplication and what that means basically. So this is a map of this is a map. Obviously, you have different countries, different locations. So, for instance, deduplication. Let's talk about that a little bit, shall we? So, someone in Doha, Qatar, sends a file, a PDF of some sort, right? And um, that's their client is there, and they want to back it up at a file storage system or a file share, or I'm sorry, a storage policy in Kerala, right? So Kerala is where the ComServe is. Kerala is where the storage device is, all that, right? And the same thing with Dubai. So both both Doha and Dubai send the same PDF because they're just emails from somebody else and like, oh yeah, let me back that up. Or maybe it's a um, in their on their computer, like we're backing up their computers in Doha and Dubai, and on their computer in the desktop, let's say, that's the same exact file. So that's two of the same exact file. Let's just say now guess that's Bombay or Mumbai, if you will, right here. Now in Mumbai, they get the same email. Well, they save it to their desktop, okay? And the same goes with Chennai and also here in Phuket, Thailand. All those people, all those users, all those customers save all their files, that PDF, that one particular PDF, to their desktop. Their desktop gets backed up, and Commvault is the one managing it, but the media agents are the ones that process how it backs up basically. So these are all, let's say there's a client here, there's a client in Chennai, there's a client in Bombay, there's a client in Dubai, and there's a client in Doha, Qatar. And again, same exact PDF, right? And the comm server's like, okay, let's back that up. And the media agent, let's say a media agent's in Kerala as well. And so what you have is without deduplication, you'll have, what is it? One, two, three, four, five of the same exact file go into that storage device. So let's assume that storage device, or let's say that file is 1 meg. That's 5 meg that you're backing up every single day. Maybe it's you do weekly full incrementals, and that so once a month, let's say 4 times a month, you back up the same file. That's 4 meg, or 5 meg times 4 times a month. That's 20 meg a month, right? 20 meg a month of the same exact file. You're backing up. You're creating space. So that's times 12 months. So 20 times 12. That's 240 meg of just data that's just sitting there. Like, why are we backing it up? Yeah, it's just there. So that's where deduplication comes in. You have those files. What deduplication does is this: you have these 5 files. They're all the same content. It looks and says, okay, the file I see, okay, all the bits are the same. Okay, AAA, for example, AAA, they're all the same. Okay, so I only need to back up that one time. And if I need to reduplicate it, or if I need to restore it, all I can do is just make a copy of it. I'll restore it. I'll make a copy. So I'll take what I have in my storage device, and I'll just copy it, and I'll send it to whoever. For instance, let's say Bahrain, or rather Doha, Qatar, they delete their file, whatever, right? This is Doha. They'll delete their file. I don't know where it's at, right? So um, they've already backed it up. So what happens is the storage policy, or the storage device, comm services. Oh, if the duplication is set up, it says, oh, well, I have that file. I've saved it. I've made a copy of that file because all these other files are the same exact. So yeah, I know where that's at. I have a copy for you. Here you go. And it sends it and restores it for you. No worries. That's really deduplication. That's all it is, really. It's you have um, like-minded data or like data, meaning exactly the same, and all you're doing is just copying it one time. I don't need to back up all that. No, all the files are the same. I can see that. Okay, I'm making one copy. Done. And then just restore it. You're restoring the same data. And you just, if you need to restore it to Dubai, guess what? You have a copy. No worries. That's exactly what um, deduplication is essentially. So let's actually see how it works in Commvault. First, let me show you what it looks like on the sub or the client side, meaning, for instance, a file system, and this is a subclient name. So the subclient itself says, okay, can you dedupe? You're going to dedupe my files. And when you click on enable deduplication, you're saying, okay, deduplicate at the actual client. So at the actual client, like it's a server or it's a desktop, whatever you're backing up. Um, it does require more processing power doing that way. Um, so, some companies do, some companies don't. The other thing you have, the option you have is do the deduplication at the media agent. And the media agent, again, should be really beefy, right? So this is something to actually take into consideration here. So if you enable client-side deduplication, no matter what you set up on your storage policy, like, okay, duplication is at the client, if you tell it to duplicate at the storage level, storage policy, it's going to ignore that and say, nope, I'm still doing it at the client, because the client is the one that's it takes over from there. So that, just take note of that. If you click on client, if you dedupe at the client, you're gonna it's no matter what you set the storage policy to, it's going to do it at the client. Media agent is not that way. The other thing to consider, or the next one to actually look at is for duplication is but before I show you that, I want to show you actually the settings. So you right click on the client, go to properties, click on advanced, click on deduplication. So here's where the setting is, what I was talking about. So for instance, you were to set up on that default backup set client, and you set it here storage policy, it's actually going to do on the client. The other settings, of course, are perform client deduplication. You can enable client side disk cache. You can do disable. Well, of course, you can disable client side duplication. But yeah, so we're gonna actually do storage. Use the storage policy setting for this. So yeah. So let's click on one of the media agents. Actually, let's do the ComServe, which is a media agent as well. Let's right click on it. We'll go to properties. Now let's click on deduplication partitions. Okay, so a little bit about deduplication partition. A deduplication partition is basically a way of, like, I guess, slicing up different dedupe database data setting or saving data. So for instance, you might have a dedupe database setting or data in one of this partition. Like in our case, deduplication is a path, and then test is another path. And you don't see the other one. You don't see this duplication storage policy because it's not set up yet. And deduplication database is one of the most important things in a ComServe, especially if duplication is set up. If when you go for an interview, right, they're going to ask you all these other questions, yeah, restore and all that. But what they care the most about is what I found is deduplication. Like, do you know deduplication? Do you understand the global deduplication policy, how it works? And the only way to really know it, truth be told, is not to read it, is to actually do it. Hands on. I've done it. So that, because you have like a mental, um, you can talk them through, and if you've failed basically in Commvault, meaning you've tried something that didn't work, henceforth fail. That's a good thing. It's like, oh, I learned, I learned something about that. I didn't know that about Commvault. I didn't know the deduplication. And once you know deduplication in one area, like for instance, you know it in Commvault, you're good everywhere else because everybody uses dedupe. Every storage vendor uses deduplication. Everybody uses deduplication because you know, they're saving so much money when they use it. So that's why it's very important. So understanding the concept, it's really just simple, right? Like I said, it's just, three people have the same apple, same exact apple, or same, not apple. That's not really a good analogy, but the same three people have the same exact file. They're all AAA, and one person's file deleted, but you've already backed it up and it's deduped. So, oh, the duplication. Oh, let me just make a copy of that. Here you go. Thank you. So, anyway, so this is the media agent setting for deduplication. So, in order to let's actually create it, right? Let's talk about a little bit more. But to actually do that, we first need to create a library. So let's do another library just specifically for dedupe. So we'll call it like dedupe2 or something like that. We'll change our media agent and then we'll just browse to a folder. We'll just select the folder called dedupe, push OK. Okay, and push OK. And then now we've created another library, of course. Well, we need that for our other deduplication to work, or to set it up another dedupe. Okay, so now that the library is set up, you can either do it two ways. You can do it from the storage resources deduplication engine, right click on that, new global dedupe policy, or you can go down to the storage policy, right click on that, and you new global deduplication policy. Space requirements for dedupe database. Basically, if the client has 100 files to be backed up, this is the calculation that it wants. So it's like 0.2 is the number of blocks above the dedupe size, times 100 files times 30 days equals 600K or kilobits. So the size of the dedupe database will be 600 kilobits. That's pretty small, but that's what they're assuming right there. And they're not giving actual specifics on the actual every file, how much space it has. They're just giving like a rough estimate of the size. So now, yeah, now that's just continue on a little bit with this, right? So the number of partitions for the dedupe database, right? So here we go. We're talking about the front end terabytes basically. So this is the obviously the partitions, right? So anyway, it's talking about like if you have this much space or data that you're backing or you're backing up or you're expecting to back up, your duplication block size would be X, 128K in this example, right? So this is very good. Commvault makes a pretty good product. Documentation.commvault.com is a pretty good resource for a lot of stuff. So first things first, we need to set up, we have our two libraries. Those are good. Now we need to set up our dedupe engines. So what we're going to do is right click on duplication engines, right click on it, right click. Okay, we're going to go new global deduplication policy. Okay, we're going to call this the Orlando DB. We're going to click next. So our library that we're using for this is going to be what is it, Orlando? So yeah, we're going to choose Orlando. Click on Orlando. Okay, then click next. So the media agent is going to be the primary copy is for the media agent of the CommServe. We're going to select that. I don't think there's anything, nope, only one's selected. Okay, push next. Okay, we're going to leave it blank for the advanced setting for the primary key. Push next. Okay, actually go back one, right? So we are going to actually enable the use of the partitioned duplication database in this one. So we're going to enable and then click next. Okay, so we're going to choose a path here for the DDB. We're going to choose one in Orlando. Just click on the path, choose path. So we'll click on the CommServe one, and we'll have to actually specify the path. Okay, that should be the path right there. So yeah, we're going to click OK. Okay, it doesn't like the path. So we're going to have to create a share on this server and tie it to that. Actually, let's do this. Let's just actually create a path on the C drive of the actual server. We'll call it production DDB1 part 1, partition 1. Okay, click OK on that one. And partition 2. Let's see if we can get away with just actually creating one. Does it allow us to actually just create one? Yeah, let's see if it'll actually let us just create one. That'd be fun. Okay, perfect, yeah. And click finish. Okay, so what you're going to see in the dedupe engine here is you're going to see it pop up actually. Deduplication engine. You may require you to close the ComCell, just the browser here or the ComCell, and then open it back up. That's what I've seen in the past actually. That's what's happened. So let's do that. Let's just close it and come back. We're going to close the ComCell console. Just open it back up again. Okay, we see that we have a duplication engine. That's perfect, awesome, fantastic. That's spectacular. Okay, the next thing is to do is create another one. We're going to right click on it. That is to say, right click on the duplication engine again. And we're going to do new global dedupe policy. We're going to name this one Dallas. Click next. And we're going to change our library to actually represent the Dallas library. Actually, click next. So the primary copy, the media agent's actually going to be media agent 1. Identify that, and then click next. Okay, so our advanced settings, we're not going to do software encryption, and push next. Okay, here's where we define the actual deduplication database. So we're going to click on the media agent. Okay, we're going to choose enable use of partition dedupe database. Okay, click that, or enable that, actually enable that, and then click next. So we're going to minimize this down to 1, and we're actually going to choose a path that we're going to put the dedupe database in. So click on choose path, select our media agent that we want to have here, which is the media agent 1. And let's see, let's browse. Let's go and see what we have here for the partition path. So let's choose DDB part 3 and click OK. Throw it in there and click OK again. And next. Okay, fantastic. Click finish. So I forgot to put the actual name DDB on there, so I'm going to see if I can. So I right click on the storage policy, well, this properties here, copy name, and let's see if we can't just put in like a DDB here. Yeah, let's do like that. Right, let's try that out, see how that works. Excellent, it did change, sweet. So now that we have a dedupe database engine, let's go to our clients and then let's put put a dedupe agent on it. Okay, well, by default, it actually put one in there. So let's change our storage policy on that dedupe database subclient. Okay, so we're going to change the storage policy to, I don't have it set up yet. Okay,
Let's set it up real quick. So I'm going to set up a Orlando storage policy and a Dallas storage policy. Okay. Data protection, we're going to call this Dallas. And next, I need to call it maybe production. Okay. So I'm going to use the global existing global dedupe policy. Yes. And I'm going to use the global dedupe policy of Dallas. I'm going to change my aging to 1 day, 1 cycle, and click next. Okay, that's it. Click finish. Do the same thing for Orlando. Okay, that's set up. Let's go back over to our default policy, rather storage policy on our sub-client name. Right click on that, properties, click on the storage device, change that to, that's going to be, let's see, Orlando. Yeah, so Orlando, this is going to be Orlando. Yeah, the comm server is in Orlando and the media agent, I believe, is in Dallas. Click on data transfer options. We're going to do compression. Just going to leave it on the storage policy and then click OK. Okay, we're going to change our production, our default, to actually go Orlando. So we're going to click on storage devices and we're going to change it to Orlando. Prod. Data transfer options, leave it like that. Deduplication, we're going to enable it. We're going to click on the media agent actually and click OK. We're going to head over to the media agent and do the same. So the reason you have this dedupe database set up and you didn't set it up or you didn't enable it is strictly because of the dedupe engine that's been set up. So you're going to right click on this default client, click on storage devices and select Dallas Prod. Data transfer options, use storage policy and dedupe. We're going to do that on the media agent actually. Click OK. Okay, so now we're going to change our schedule policy in Windows to actually, we're going to go edit on the Windows schedule policy. We're actually going to change it to say Windows multiple here. Okay. Associations, we're going to change that as well. We're going to actually just do both the to the file agents, so client computers, file system, default, okay, and fantastic. Okay, great. Click on view. Okay, good, excellent, set up correctly. Let's click on general. And now let's edit this full. Let's actually just delete this. I'll leave it like that. We'll edit this full to do a full and the schedule pattern. We're going to run a full continuously every 1 hour. So the setting is actually in automatic. So click on automatic and actually do one every hour. And incrementals between every 2 minutes. So scroll down. Everything looks fine. Okay. That's fine for the automatic. Yeah. So that's good. Actually, let's do it every 1 hour, 15 minutes. Actually, that'll be fine. Okay, and then incremental, we'll edit that as well. So we'll actually schedule that pattern every 1 hour. Okay, every 1 hour. Okay, that looks good. And it looks fine. Let's push OK. So let's go over to our client here and just identify what we're trying to back up. That way we know that we're not going to be backing up a large amount of data. Okay, that looked fine. Okay, push OK. Okay, now let's go head over to our media agent actually, and we'll see what we're going to back up with this. Okay, let's just back up this desktop actually. That's fine. Okay, that seems to be fine. Push OK there. Looks like our job's already started to kick off because remember I set it to every hour. Excellent. So we'll let this run for a while. I'll come back and I should see a bunch of jobs that I've ran already.
So now that we've created a bunch of jobs. We can see there's actually data now. And Dallas hasn't really created much because not a lot of jobs have kicked off. But in Orlando, definitely we have a lot of deduplication settings here. So we have a deduplication savings of 95%. Total application size is 21 meg. Let's scroll up a little bit here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see a little chart here, if we scroll down a little bit, kind of tells you so unique blocks, secondary blocks, and then pending. So unique block is like the file is unique. So block level and file level. Block level, of course, is like there's like imagine like 4 squares, right? And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a block. So if you have say one, let me actually give you a graph on it. So here's actually what a block looks like essentially, right? So you have data inside a block, and what happens is, it when a block, it's just one block, right? So a file is just like a file, and just like a file with whatever data inside. Whereas a block of data or block, this is what it talks about here. So these are just like terms used for storage devices or storage networking or storage. So you might have like this would be, I think, CIFS would be an example of a file, like a file level, right? And then SAN would be an example of a block level, or fiber channel, or fiber channel Ethernet would be another example of SAN or block storage, right? File storage, block storage. Yeah, that's what we're putting at right here. So how that incorporates with deduplication, it does, because it that's essentially what they're doing. They're scanning and saying, okay, we're using CIFS, right? So it's not a block level. So we're using CIFS. So in this regard, it says, okay, I can see the file, and I want to dedupe it. Basically, it's a like-minded file. I don't need to back that extra file up because it's the same. I don't need to. So let's get back to our comp server. So you can see the size of the deduplication database, right? So a deduplication database, right? Database is just like, okay, I have data about data. I have information about what is being deduped, essentially, right? So a global deduplication is like, you might want to see, say, for instance, files are going to be, before it goes to the library, global deduplication is going to say, oh, nope, that's dedupe data. I already have it. No need. So that's the job of the global deduplication engine, basically. Its function in the global dedupe database. Its function is to say files from the ComServe to the tape library or storage library or storage policy library. Its job is to say, nope, they already have that backed up. We don't need another copy of that. So it saves you actually a lot of data, and that's its whole purpose, really, and in that regard. So I want to take you through a couple of troubleshooting steps here and just overview and give you an idea of them. So for instance, you're in your let's assume, right, your dupe database is corrupt. You're like, oh, what happened? I don't know, So you first thing you can do is you can go view, you can go jobs, view jobs from, oh wait, no, that won't work because there's not a lot of jobs from that. Let's actually go to the Orlando one. That's a better one. Right click, view jobs, and include all agents. Yes. Time range, uncheck that. Okay. All right, so this is grayed out, obviously, right? So yeah, while we're here, let's talk about that a little bit. So if you see a grayed out file, right, that usually means, let's see, it means it's aged. I'll tell you the difference, right? Watch this. Right click on this is active. Right click on that. Right click on this. So if we right click on this job here, we can see retain job. But if it's like I said, if it's grayed out, it means it's aged a lot of times. Well, most of the time actually, probably every single time you see it, you can unage it again. It's already aged. That's weird. Wonder why. But anyway, yeah. So most time it's grayed out. It means it's aged. So, at any rate, what we're after here is this for our DDoS database, right? So let's assume one of these is corrupt. Let's just assume, right? So the first thing you have to do, or you're going to do, is you say, oh, one of my and why is this even important? Why do you even care, right? Why is this even a big deal? If your dedupe database, one of these files is corrupt, what happens is you'll have more data. You know, or it'll cause a problem actually with your dedupe database. Like, okay, maybe it won't back up that file. Maybe it's going to re-back it up. If it's a large file, you can imagine how that could grow. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to troubleshoot a couple things, right? We're going to assume that it's corrupt, right? So the first thing you can do is this. You can click on, let's see, we can go to, you can first run data verification. That's the first thing you can do. Okay, and say, oh, verification of DU database, or verify if existing jobs on DU database, right? So let's say we're going to do verification of DU database. Let's just say yes on that one. So okay, and that's not a job. So it's not like a normal job here. It'll be in the events actually. So let's click on view tools maybe. Which one is it? Storage, configure, reports, view, sport. No. Where's event viewer? Excuse me. Yeah. So it's right here actually. You'll see it right here in the event viewer whenever it decides to show up. Yeah, if your Commvault is very slow, you need more memory, man. I can tell you that the comm server itself is just so beefy, I can show you what it looks like actually. And like just the web Java portion, right? It takes, look, that's just the GUI right there, right? The console, 500 meg, right? And check out this one right here. Okay, that is the Tomcat, Commvault Tomcat service. That's like the Apache server, the web server, basically. 1.5 meg, or I mean 1.5 gig. That's a lot, and that's why I say you need a beefy box to do Commvault for sure. Let me click on refresh so I can get some data here. So I'll actually do it, so I can show you what that looks like. I close it, come back into it. What was it? Home and event viewer. So the data verification has been completed. So now we need to go and modify the database properties. So we're going to go to policies and then storage policy. And then storage policy, right? And then right click on the DDB database, all task, or actually you go to properties. Let's take a look at the properties there. Actually it's this one here. So it's the actual, so you got the DDB database, right? This thing right here. So what is this? Let's just see what this is real quick. Under storage policies, this is, so what is this? This is the storage policy name. This is storage policy type, which is a global deduplication policy, right? That's what this is. So we don't want that. We want this one down here, which is the copy properties, I believe. Storage policy copy properties, right? Okay, these are the copy properties, right? So this is how it's copied essentially. So from here, we're going to select deduplication. Then we're going to click on settings. Let me open this up a little bit here. Click on settings. So before we do that though, here's kind of nice information. So um, the deduplication database, this is the name of the dedupe right here, right? This is the size of the application, total disk size. This is the dedupe access path. So you have your media agent and your partition path. So we'll click on settings. So what's important here, right? So one is don't dedupe against objects older than a certain amount of days. That's one. That's a good setting actually to have. So meaning, you know, don't duplicate after jobs after older than 365 days or however long you say. Let's actually say like say 3 days, right? That's fine. Okay. Enable software compression, of course, that's a good one to have. Use duplication priming option. Okay, we're actually going to talk about these two. So you have the dedupe database, DDB availability option. So if you check this, meaning let's just say you select seal and start a new dedupe database automatically on detection of inconsistency. What does that mean exactly? So okay, so we're just looking at documentation now, right? So, okay, why would you do that, right? If your dedupe database is invalid, it's not active, it's not available, right? You would actually do that. So failover to a new dedupe database, meaning you're going to fail to a new dedupe database. And so the other one is pause and recover current dedupe database. It's like, hey, wait a minute, let's pause this. Let's try to recover what I currently have. You know, you might have a corrupt file. You might have some file in the dedupe database that's corrupt. Some, you know, most likely that's what it is. In that case, just say, hey, wait a minute. Let's just think about this. You're gonna try to recover what you have. Let's look at actually what Commvault says about it. So, you know, what it does is automatically recovers from the dedupe database, from the dedupe database backup. And so on demand, you have automatic, manual, and then the two right there. So really what's going on is it's trying to get your data back. This is very important. Like this section here, dedupe database, duplication in general, this is almost as important, if not as important as the Oracle and the SQL backups and or stores. I would say that's one. I would say, well, this is probably even more. So I would actually call this like 1 and that one 1A. So global duplication, everybody's going to want to use this. Everyone wants to use it. They want to implement it. They want to make it work. And it's your job as the Commvault admin to make it happen, Captain, right? Basically. So, you know, the imperative to like go through, you know, just, you know, actually fail. Try it out for yourself on your lab and fail as many times as possible so you can fully understand it. You know, take what I'm teaching here as a primer and say, okay, learn from this. You know, this is a starting point essentially. So what are we doing? We're going to change this to 3 days, right? So this is, again, this is on Orlando, so we're good there. So the only thing we changed was don't dedupe against anything over 3 days. Don't do it, you know? And you know, it's very, so it's critical there. So we're just gonna go ahead and click OK. Oh, it changed. Why did it change it back to 365? Oh, I know why, because it didn't start a new database. That's why. So let's actually go back. So there's something I didn't know about actually, where duplication and settings. If don't duplicate against. Okay, let's just say 3. Let's goes back 365. Okay, yeah, interesting. Okay, so I guess not with that. Okay, so what have we already done so far? We've already done a verification on the dedupe database. Let's actually click that. So we'll click on there. Actually, let's click on this one. Let me explain actually. Let me explain this. So we're going to go to storage resources. Then we're going to click on the Orlando deduplication engine, and then the SIDB Oracle deduplication. We're going to right click on it, and we've already done run verification, data verification. We've already done that. So our endpoint would like to be, so it's kind of a transition, right? So I want to go towards sealing the dedup database. So you want to recover it, but so you want to go like data recovery or data verification, make sure it's good, right? And let's assume it's not. Then you go, before you go to recover dedup database, you need to go to the actual partition and right click on the actual partition and do a mark for recovery. Are you sure you want to mark this recovery partition? Or you want to mark this partition for recovery? Yes. This operation will mark the partition offline and initiate a deduplication dedup reconstruction job. So it's gonna mark it offline, right? And it's going to perform a recovery of the actual partition, right? So we actually don't want to do that, not yet, actually. So dedup reconstruction job, we don't want to do that yet. So we'll push no, get out of that. Instead, we want to do this. We want to do all tasks, and we want to perform a recover deduplication database. Click on that. If we wanted to do a entire deduplication database without using previous recovery, we click on, we check this mark here. So let's check that mark. And let's click on advanced to see where our options are here. Okay, job alert, retry, startup. Okay, looks like we're good there. Okay, so let's actually do this. Let's do this. Let's go. I believe that is, it's in the Commvault, right? So we're CommServe. So we're going to click OK. Okay, so I need to run no need to run a reconstruction. Okay, so it's not offline. So of course, it says, hey, you're not offline, right? No need, yeah. So let's click OK on that one. Basically, it's saying is, hey, the primary is not offline yet, right? So let's try something with that. So it needs to be offline, and it's not offline. So let's try let's try a third thing. Actually, not try a third thing, but I want to show you a third thing. So when you get this, that means it's not online, right? I mean, it's not offline, rather. It should be offline when you do it. So I know there's a workaround, perhaps. Let's try the workaround. So right click again, we'll go all tasks, we'll go recover dedup database, and then we'll just uncheck the reconstruct entire DDB without using previous recover backup. Let's try that. Let's see what that yields. Same thing. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, so moving on to so I wanted to show you what it kind of will do while you do that, when you run recovery. So if you have an offline dedup database partition, you're going to run it, right? You're going to go to dedup engine storage policy, and then you're going to right click on the dedup database, then move partitions. So why do you do this, right? Let me actually show you how that works. So we're going to right click on our dedup database engine. We're going to go click on all tasks. Then we're going to do move partitions. And so it's important that we don't seal it beforehand. So it's important that we do this before we seal the dedup database. That's imperative that you do that. So you move the partition first, then you seal it. Okay, so let's back over to our partition. Let's move it. We're going to move it somewhere else. We're going to choose a path. Same server. We should call it a new name, actually. We'll call it move part. We'll just call it move part. Move part. Click OK. And click OK. And then we're going to change. We're going to click on Change Configuration or Config Only. And we're going to click OK. Okay, push OK. Okay, this operation will change the path in the database only. Please move the files manually from partition, right? So it's going to, when you do this, it's not going to actually move the files, right? You have to physically move, you have to physically move the files, right? Please move the files manually from this partition, which is DDB1 to the move part. So yeah, we're going to continue. So after this, we're actually going to move the files over. So click OK. Select partitions will be offline, of course. You know, make sure the jobs are not pending or waiting. You want to continue? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Look at that. So all it's done is it's actually not moved the files. It's just moved like the config file, like the pointer basically. So we need to actually go in and move the files now. So you don't see any files. This is the old DDU database. This is the new one. So we're just going to copy it, and we're going to drag it over. Physically moving it, right? So yes, I want to continue, of course. May not always be as easy as this. Okay, so now we can close this out actually. So that's good. Close it. So we can hit our refresh, and it should change the name here. Oh, I'm missing a step. I need to restart the services on the media agents. Let me do that. So I'm just going to restart the services. I'm going to close my CommServe first, and I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to restart my services. Okay, and we're back. I restarted the service, or the Commvault services basically. So yeah, look at that. We have it. It's different now. So let's click on Storage Resources, Dedup Engine. Open up the Orlando, and we see, look what's different now. Nice. Some totally different area. Very, very nice. Now let's try that whole recover all tasks, recover deduplication. Let's see if that works now. Okay, so reconstruction entire database without using any previous recovery backups. Let's click on OK. Oh, same thing, it's not offline. Okay, all right, so be it. Moving on, actually. So I want to seal the database now, right? I want to show you how to seal it. So you right click on the Dedup engine, you go to the SID B, right? And you go to all tasks, and you're going to seal the deduplication database. So the reason, so why do you do this actually? You're sealing this because it's corrupt by any means, right? Oh, it's corrupt. It can't be worked out. You know what? Actually, let me actually do a different one. So I think, no, that's online still. Anyway, so when we seal the dedup database, it's stopping it right then and there. And it's from then on, it is gonna write a new dedup database. So you seal it, it doesn't use it anymore. Like you do this if it's corrupt. Let me actually show you what Commvault says about it. So it tells about sealing the dedup database, and then scroll down a little bit. You have to make sure that it's the no dedup database jobs are running, and this is how you do it, right? And again, it says here like sealing the dedup database requires more space, of course, on the disk because you're getting a new baseline, a new reference point, I guess, or a new dedup, dedup database, but it has to reference the old one, right? So essentially, you have two. So there's sometimes when it needs the old dedup database, you know, that you've sealed for information or for data, but you're not able to give that information. Maybe one of the something in the dedupe database is corrupt, right? So that's why you seal it. And the benefits of sealing a dedupe database, let me show you. Again, the benefits of sealing a dedupe database is it's going to pause it, or it's going to take that dedupe database and say, okay, I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm not going to write any more data to it. I'm going to write dedupe data to another, well, this other partition actually. So let's go ahead and seal the dedupe database. So we're going to click on seal deduplication database. Okay, here we go. So after sealing a current dedupe database, a minimum of such and such free space must be available on the disk library to create a new baseline. So I need to create a new baseline. Let's see what that looks like in the folder itself, actually. So when you click on, do you want to continue? Yes. Oh, right. Space available. Okay, hold on. Let me type that in. Okay, I'm going to type in space available for sealing jobs. Click OK. And, oh, I typed in wrong. Okay, sorry, I typed it right again. Okay, that should work now. Okay, click OK. All right, so let's pull up our partition here. Okay, so we're going to go to the event viewer. In the event viewer, we should see something note. Okay. Okay, so something about, oh, here we go. Double click on it. Okay, so it's sealed. They're telling you, hey, the dedupe database has been sealed by the user, right? So now we know it's verified. You're not going to get like a job controller, none of that stuff. It's just going to do it here. The other thing let me see, check to see if let's refresh, see if it's there. No? Okay. So what you're also going to see is, you're going to see this here on the left-hand side under deduplication engines. You're going to see a new, basically a new, well, it's almost like a SID B, right? SID B, Orlando deduplication. So it's a sealed deduplication database, right? Okay, fantastic. So what we do is, when we start new jobs, you'll actually see dedupe database should move into this one as well, actually, right after that. So what we have 508 meg here. On this one, you're gonna have the same one. But when we create another job, we do another job, we're gonna see more data here. So let's just run a couple of jobs actually against that. So we're gonna edit. We're actually gonna edit. So we're gonna do a we're gonna delete the. Well, we're gonna leave that actually. Let's do a full. We'll go to edit the full. Okay. So we're going to select full. We're going to actually edit these scheduled patterns. We're going to do one every, why not? 2 minutes. Run a full every 2 minutes. Minimum sync every 2 minutes. That's fine. Automatic. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We'll run every 2 minutes, right? So we do full. Okay, that's good. There. We'll do the same thing with, we'll just run a full every minute or so. 2 minutes should work. Okay, we'll also change I'll just leave it incremental like that, push OK. And then we're gonna run immediately. So we'll let this job run. It's gonna run a bunch, because I wanna see this, I wanna show you some data, how it's changed a bit. So click on job controller. So we're going to come back when it's ran a couple of jobs. So the cool thing about the dedupe database, when you seal it, right, or just another factor, right, you'll see that it's actually puts a date on there. So we're just waiting for it to show up. I want to see the difference in size, right? That's what I want you to show you, the difference in size. So if we actually go to the actual place where it's located now, the folder. Okay. So where was it at? It was in move part, right? So it's going to be here. So what you'll notice is, of course, the one thing here, the ICL label is changed. But the second thing is you see now, um, it's pretty much a current file, right? So we've migrated the dedupe database after, um, no, we migrated, then we sealed it, right? And so, right. But you're seeing, notice right here. So 13, notice that. You'll see some information there. So let's close this out. I wanted to show you the difference, right? So the sealed dedupe database is at 33 meg, dedupe savings, 23 blocks, right? Unique blocks. So let's scroll a little bit. So you see the trend there. And we can scroll over a little bit. So we see the baseline size. Of course, it's the same library. This represents the library that is pointing to. This doesn't represent the partition file, actually. And so the verified on this date, we did it this date, transactional DB is disabled. And we can scroll down a little bit here, and you're going to see more information about it. So duplication savings by DB. So here's the interesting thing I wanted to show you, right? So you have a partition here. So you have last dedupe database, right? It's online. So this one here is the old dedupe database. It's still online. But if you had a real problem, right, you would actually see it here. It would say offline, right? So you would be able to see it. It would say offline. And if it's offline, you have another problem. Yeah, meaning, sometimes it's beyond, like, it's corrupt beyond, it's rare cases, right? But it's really what I've seen actually in the field is this: when you have a dedupe database, that thing will grow if you let it, and you really have to account for the size of it. You have to really pay attention. So it comes down to, when you set it up, make sure that your partition, where it's going to, it's a beefy file. Maybe it's a file share that grows, because for instance, if you were to archive files, and if they don't age off, your database can be 30, 20 terabyte easily. I mean, that's how large this thing can get. So just imagine if you have thousands of clients, and you have to scale accordingly on your dedupe database. You have to account for that much space that it's going to do that. And I think Apple. I think Apple uses Commvault, actually. So you can imagine how big their stuff has to be. I mean, it's probably gigantic. We're probably talking 500 terabytes of global dedupe data, right? I mean, if you just scale it out, right? I mean, imagine how large it is if you have a large amount of data you're backing up. You're going to need, you're actually going to need multiple versions or multiple instances of the dedupe database. You're going to need multiple dedupe database engines, right? So, yeah, take into consideration that. So let's take a look at the new dedupe database, right? So when it's sealed, it means, hey, I'm not writing anymore. I'm good. I'm going to reference, no worries, but I'm not going to write anymore. So this is the new one. The new and improved dedupe database. Do you see the difference in size here? The other one, so it's a lot bigger than this one, right? Well, of course, accordingly, because you have it's brand new. It's it's good to go. It's it's started up. It's not done anything yet, really. I mean, you got what? Not really saved much data. I've got a couple backups on it, looks like, but let's scroll down and we'll see the the database statistics across the partition. So let's take a look. You're going to see that, of course, it's going to be the same one, because it's the one that's online. However, let's scroll up a little bit here, actually. So yeah, let's actually just look here. So if we look at this one here, the partition, right? Let's take a look at that. Let's see if that's the same on this other one. I don't think it is, but let's take a look anyway. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. Okay. Do I see it anymore? I don't. Oh, I don't see it. Okay, that must have been the one. That must have been the one I was. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the wrong one. I clicked the wrong thing. Excuse me. That's the one I wanted to click. Yeah. So that one. So it's got 23 files, right? Yeah, it's on mine. So that, yeah, there is a difference in those two. So yeah, right. So just to recap, what we've done essentially is first things first. What did we do first? So first thing I did was all tasks. I did run data verification, right? That's the first thing I did. So the second thing I did was, actually I did it on this one here. Second thing I did was I, let me actually click on this so you can see that. So second thing I did was that I moved the partitions. So I moved them to another location, right, roughly. And then the third thing I did was recover the dedupe database. But that didn't work because it was offline. Or I'm sorry, it's online, it has to be offline. So that didn't work. So obviously we know that didn't work, right? Real world scenario, it would have worked. And of course, the last one is a seal the dedupe database. So that's the one. That's the last thing we did. So in doing that, you created a sealed dedupe database that is totally separate. However, when you back up data, it's gonna see this. So oh, okay, I know there's some dedupe database there or dedupe data there. Okay, I'll use that as a reference point. So all is not lost when that happens. You you d- you don't want to delete this. I can tell you that you do not want to delete this whatsoever. You want this. You want it to age off, right? It's going to age off gracefully. Setting the setting up in the data aging, whatever the storage policy is set to. So yeah, so that is deduplication in a nutshell. Very brief overview of duplication. So thanks for viewing this tutorial.